Are you stuck? What about unhappy? Join Alena Chapman, author, mentor, and life coach for 30-minute moments as she challenges you to get out of the doldrum and start living your life to the fullest. It's time to celebrate that life with 30-minute moments.
It is time for 30-minute moments today, and I'm your host, Alena Chapman, and as you know, we are always bringing you more betterment and ease on this show, and I have something very special for you. I call it Meet Alena, and seriously, it's just a time to relax and chat. It's a 30-minute, of course, my theme, 30 minutes, 30 minutes of conversing with me and all about what you want to know to bring even more ease and betterment to your life. I'm setting this up for all the WOWO listeners, whether you are on radio or even the podcast, because it's time for you to get to know me. You've heard me on here more and more. You've heard Ask Alena. Well, now it's time. You know, maybe you have a specific question you want to ask me. Maybe you want to talk to me and more than just texting in a question for Ask Alena. And if you do, all you have to do, and it's easy. I love this. I love technology when it works. It text or the number 41411. Again, 41411. It's kind of a little rhyme. I like that. And then in the text part, put Meet Alena. And that'll bring you right up to my schedule. And you can schedule a 30-minute time to talk to me. We can do it by phone. If you're in the Fort Wayne area, heck, when you set up your schedule, I think it says something about, a little comments for you. Put, hey, I'm in Fort Wayne. And if you're in Fort Wayne, we can meet for coffee if you like. But if you like the phone, I'm okay with that too. So again, that's 41411. And then you just type in Meet Alena. And Alena is A-L-E-N-A. Okay? All right. Now, I want to get on to the show. I am so excited. What would you say if I said we're talking about your love life? Ooh la la. I am so excited about this next guest. I love all my guests, but this is very much needed now in this world where many of us are single. Either for the never getting married or we're divorced, whatever it may be. But there's a lot of single people out there. And so I am bringing on Angela N. Holton. Yes, there is an N in that name. N as in no, okay? And she is an international coach, speaker, author, and founder of The Love Sanctuary. I love that. It's an online spiritual and personal development site centered on helping women silence their fear. Yes, and build greater confidence to tap into their inner gifts and discover that unique purpose and dream career, along with love life. Angela uses practical strategies of self-love. Now, and guys, how many times do we talk about it takes loving yourself to attract that person who will truly, truly love you? Meditation and other practical techniques to support coaches and how she coaches her clients and creating a more fulfilling and purposeful life. Wow, that was hard for me. Angela has appeared on various radio shows, and she is also creator and host of her own online interview series called the Radical Self-Love Series, featuring over 30-plus top spiritual leader healers and luminaries from around the world. Ah, very cool. All right, with that, I am just going to bring her on. Angela, hello, hello, hello.
Alena, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Here with you this morning.
I am so happy that we are together, and I think
thank you for having me.
This is a fantastic, and it's a much needed. We kind of have fun with it, but let's face it. A lot of us are single, and some of us are in our later life single. I think there are more people in their later life single than ever before. Maybe because we're living longer, maybe because we wake up one morning and think, who is this that I married?
And I think there's more opportunities, particularly for women, to invest more in career, and people are starting
Yes.
families a lot later.
Yeah.
And then we're finding ourselves, oh my goodness, it's actually harder to date and meet someone than it was 10, 15, 20
Oh gosh, it's very funny. I have a group called Savvy Sisterhood, and we have a group of women. We have like 3 different groups of women that, if you were going to put categories, I don't like categories, but this one just sort of emerged, and I'd say it's women from anywhere from 53 all the way to almost 70. And these women, they have the money. They've had the career. They've raised the kids. They've done it themselves. And you know what? They're waking up and they're saying, okay, now what? I'd like to share. I'd like to share my life, but who's out there? You know what I mean? It's a new group that's coming up.
Absolutely. I never imagined I would be single at this point in my life. But, when I look back and reflect on my journey and my path, I'm grateful that I've gathered the tools to really prepare myself for someone now. And that's what I'm excited to talk about today with you.
Well, let's talk about this conscious dating. I like that term, of course. Conscious dating. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so conscious dating is about dating with greater clarity and greater self-awareness. It's about, really being intentional, purposeful, and mindful in how we approach relationships. And you hit the nail on the head in the introduction when you mentioned self-love. It's about loving yourself.
Yes.
And during the entire dating process, because in order, as you mentioned, to attract the kind of love that we want, we have to embody that love. So conscious dating is about learning how to love yourself in the process of attracting the one, right? I think there's so much pressure in finding the one while we're dating that we don't put enough focus on becoming the one while we're dating. So conscious dating is about really becoming fully aware of yourself, your patterns,
yes.
your belief systems, how you hold men and women in regard, what are some of your wounds and your triggers, so that you can spot those things out while you're dating. Dating is like this amazing arena to practice all these things so that when that relationship comes, you've done a lot of the homework. That's really what conscious dating is about.
And it's just like Maya Angelou said, you can't ask for a shirt from a man who doesn't have a shirt or doesn't even know what a shirt is. So if we are looking for something that we don't have, how do we know what we're looking for?
Exactly.
How do we know how it feels? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love this. So why don't let's bring it down into reality, shall we? I mean, this is all theory we're kind of talking about, kind of. Can you give us some tips to start coming to this conscious kind of dating?
Yeah. Let's get back to the basics. Really being mindful and aware of yourself, for me, begins with the meditation practice, right? The more we are aware of how we respond to people, what things trigger us, when we feel loved, when we feel abandoned, when we feel rejected, really recognizing our own stuff. So when that shows up in a relationship, we have the pause, we have the reflection to respond in a way that's more reflective than it is reactive, right? And, those things that sort of offset relationships or can make them explosive when we're not really aware of our own stuff. So it's really sitting down and building a daily meditation practice. Who am I? What do I believe? What am I thinking throughout the day? I believe it starts there. And then
it does.
It does, right? And then it's about, becoming aware of your values and your needs. What's important to you?
Big, important thing.
Huge, right? And what's non-negotiable for you, so that when someone shows up, I do believe in the list. I believe in keeping a list, and not necessarily, he or she has to have this job and this degree, this education, live here. But I mean, really being able to ascertain what is valuable to me, what is important to me in a relationship and connecting with someone, versus what are just my wants, my sort of bonuses, I like to call
like them. The blue eyes and whatever. Yeah, exactly. Those are bonus. Guys, that's, whatever. Yeah, after the argument, the blue eyes are not so blue.
Those things start to not matter anymore.
Right.
If we're not aware of who we are as people, what we love, what we enjoy, what we value, then how will we recognize it in someone else? How will we know what to ask for in a partner, A, and B, how will we recognize it when he or she shows up? We won't. So to me, dating is about learning about yourself. It is. All about your nuances, right? What do you believe? Are you going out there saying all men are X, Y, and Z, all women are X, Y, and Z? Because whatever belief you hold, that's what you're going to materialize. That's what you're going to create over and over and over again. So it's being mindful and aware. What am I thinking? What are my patterns? How are my relationships beginning and ending? Really being reflective about how you show up in a relationship.
I love this. You know, it's funny because, I'm single too, and just like you, I never thought I would be single at this time in my life. However, I am, and I'm very thankful for everything I have learned because that's who I've become. Now, and I know what you're talking about, the list, and there is, for everyone out there, there's this list that you make that you write down the qualities, and then you work through the list to make sure you have those qualities because you can't get what you don't have. But Angela, I want to tell you about something. May I do that? Because I just learned it and I'm excited. I want to see what you think, okay? I learned this from a friend of mine. She said, well, why don't you write that someone a letter? And I thought, well, why am I doing that? And she said, well, because I always ask why. That's just my character. And so she said, well, because you'll get even deeper. You'll get to what really matters. And you know, Angela, I tried it and I was amazed because the letter brought out some of the deepest feelings, the really core things I want out of that relationship. And I addressed it to whoever this is. And it also gave me the feeling I'm looking for when I'm with that person. Interesting, isn't it?
It is, and I've done it. And I've written that letter more than once because sometimes I just want to have conversation with this man, this person. And so I'll take pen to paper and I'll write to him. And more things, as you mentioned, come up. And, you know, you have to, as you mentioned, the feeling of embodying that relationship before it happens, you have to begin the love affair with this person before it happens.
I love that.
Talk to my partner. I pray over my partner in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, I've made space in my life mentally and physically for this person to show up. So I think we just have to do the work. You know, and people are like, oh, the work, why can't it just be easy? But, you know, anything worth having, and if it's going to be good, it requires work and preparation. And that's what conscious dating is. It's the opportunity to really prepare yourself, to write those letters, those love letters to your partner, and write those love letters to yourself. You know, one of the exercises I talked about on Valentine's Day was encouraging clients and people to write a love letter to themselves.
Yeah.
There's no greater love than the love you can give.
No. I love it. It's so true. You are listening to 30-Minute Moments, and I'm your host, Alena Chapman, and we have a fabulous guest, Angela N. Holton.
You're listening to 30-Minute Moments with Alena Chapman, helping you discover your true purpose on WOWO and at WOWO.com.
Welcome back to 30-Minute Moments. I'm your host, Alena Chapman, and we are with Angela N. Holton, and we are talking about finding that love in your life. Oh, this is a no miss. But Angela, to catch up on things, now we've given some wonderful tools to everyone. I hope, and if you guys didn't hear that first part, go back and listen because those are good tools. But I want to know about the 3 biggest mistakes that single people make when they're dating.
All right. Can I give you a 3 and a bonus?
I love that. Give me a bonus.
So the first one that I think is so important and simple is people aren't dating. They aren't dating.
Yeah.
I did a workshop recently, and I surveyed and asked how many women on the call in the workshop were actually dating, and only one person was dating. So a lot of mistakes.
Wow.
The biggest mistake that people who want a relationship are making is they're not dating. And a place to find that dating that they're not doing is online dating. 30% of marriages are happening from online dating. So if you're not dating online, you're missing out on potentially being a part of that 30%.
Okay.
So
we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this.
There's a plethora of online dating apps. Find one that suits you. That's what I say.
Yes, but all right. I always use myself as the kind of the example of what may be the norm.
Absolutely.
If you can always consider me normal. All right, so I haven't done it lately. In fact, I did it when I was first divorced. I went online, all right? And you have to know you have to be good at writing your profile because you can end up with exactly what you don't want. You put spiritual and you get everybody who is in a whole nother vein than you. You get, do you see what I'm saying? What word means something to you may be something totally opposite to the whole other sex out there. So how do you can love yourself, you can do all this, but how do you communicate that online efficiently to get the response that you're looking for, that real, true person?
Well, I think direct language is best. And I also encourage people to speak and sit with married couples,
interesting.
And have someone of the sex that you are interested in attracting, have them read your profile and what would interest them. And I would encourage you to speak to someone who's married, because that's right, if that's what you want, or someone who's coupled, because that's what we're going after, right? If you want to be coupled, speak to someone who's actually coupled and say, would this pique your interest? What do I need to tweak here and there? Like, is this interesting? Do I sound boring? Do I sound flat? And use words that you connect with, that really describe you. If it's important to you to be with someone who's educated and professional, then say that's who you are and that's what you're looking for. You like someone who has similar interests, and not be circuitous around that. Like, really put the things and the values that are important to you, so that someone, you're going to get people who are just going to like your picture, and they may not match your qualities at all.
Not at all, right?
Put them out there. So, and one of the things that I've learned too in online dating is, someone said to me, "Well, Angela, what about the men who approach me who have no chance in the world?" You know what? Be flattered, because one day you might not get any attention from the opposite sex, or the person that you want, whoever it is that you want attention from.
That's funny.
Get it. So enjoy it, and my whole thing is be transparent.
Yes.
Communicate and say, hey, thanks for reaching out for my profile, but I think we're looking for something different or something. But I find that people are not communicating in this arena of dating. So how can we be prepared for a relationship if we're not being transparent and we're not communicating? Dating online, it's a perfect platform to practice.
Well, and I think that women, especially in their, I'm who I am, but I do find that many women, and sometimes men too, they don't want to show themselves. And how many times have I heard women say, or men, wow, when I got married, a whole different person came out. We don't always show who we are in the courtship in the beginning.
I love that you brought that up.
I know. It's a needed thing.
Vulnerability. And, when you are coupled, right, it's about intimacy. It's about being exposed fully all the time. It's being completely vulnerable and naked. And so, again, if you can't do it in your dating courtship, it's going to be a real struggle when you become coupled with someone. So I always encourage people to practice vulnerability with someone they feel safe with. Some people can be very closed or private. Practice vulnerability with people you feel safe with. Share something you might not share with, that you haven't shared, right? And then take it a little broader, right? Share it with more people, because you're going to have to expose yourself. And if that makes you uncomfortable, it's going to make marriage and coupling a bigger struggle. So I'm really big on vulnerability. It's a practice. It's scary because we're all afraid of being judged or rejected. But you have to sort of put this vulnerability out there while we're also creating a buffer to feeling so fragile.
I know. And yet,
it's part of the process.
You want someone. In the end, you want someone you can feel vulnerable with. I mean, that's kind of where to feel vulnerable with someone, that's about as close as you can possibly be with someone, and the safeness that you feel. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. And I think, I hear mostly from women, my audience is largely women, who'll say they want, this partner who can share and he's transparent and they're vulnerable. And then when I flip that and ask, would you say that you're these things? And I'm like, no, vulnerability scares me. Then, like you mentioned, we have to become the characteristics that we want in a partner, because
we do.
Life and relationships will mirror us. So I say practice. It's a practice. It can be frightening, but if it's not going to destroy you, if it's not going to harm you, it's worth taking a shot at. It's worth practicing if it's what you really want.
It is. Mm-hmm. All right. So talk about if someone does open up to that vulnerability and they get shunned. I'm being the naysayer, because I know that's going through people's minds. So I open up and everything, and then he says, well, no thanks, ma'am. Or vice versa. She says, no thanks, can't deal with that. What if that's going to shut you down and put you back in your shell, how do you get back out of that shell and have the bravery to try again?
Yeah, vulnerability can be scary, and it can, create shutting down if you feel that someone is rejecting you because of your vulnerability. But I believe that men, I'm going to say men, because as young boys, they're used to rejection. They learn rejection very early on. But women, we get a lot of attention for the most part. We grow up into adult women, and when we feel rejected, it's really painful for us, and we kind of cower and we go into the shell. Men do too, but it's different.
Right.
I say with women, again, everybody's not for everybody.
Right.
And if someone's not into you enough, we have to be honest with ourselves and say, okay, he's just not that into me, and not allow it to deflate our self-esteem, that we're still good enough, but just like every other person is not for us, we're not going to be for every person. So like any game that you're in, you fall, you stumble, you dust yourself off, you cry for a moment if you have to, you take a break from dating, you rally up your girlfriends and get the support you need, and then you get right back out there and date again.
Get right back out.
This is what you want. You got to keep getting back up.
Persistence.
30.
You are with 30-Minute Moments, and I'm your host, Alena Chapman, and we are with Angela N. Holton and talking about love. Be right back.
This is 30-Minute Moments with Alena Chapman, helping you find your inner self every Sunday on WOWO and at WOWO.com.
You are listening to 30-Minute Moments, and guess what? It is my favorite part. It is the shift. And I have to say that this is my favorite part because I love to know why people do what they do. And Angela, what is an aha moment, a pivotal moment, something in your life that just said, I need to take this. I need to go this other path. What was it for you?
Oh, wow. I started on my self-love journey about 5-6 years ago, but the really big wake-up call for me was when I lost my dog, my little company.
I get that.
Yeah, it was deeply painful, and it uprooted all of my little insidious pains that I thought had been dealt with. And in the moment of that brokenness, I heard the call to love myself deeply and unconditionally, and I went full steam ahead into this passion, this purpose, this journey of really understanding what it meant to love myself. And that's what I've done for myself, and that's what I encourage in my clients. And all that I do is the fundamentals of it is all about loving yourself.
It really is, isn't it? It really, really is. And having a higher understanding, too, So when that dog dies or someone in our life is passed over, you have to have a higher understanding to get through the grief.
That's what got me through.
That's what's gotten me through, too. Yeah. Aw, that's a beautiful story. And then it's brought you to self-love for everyone else so that they can feel this, start sharing their life with someone, but whole. There is a concept out there of it's funny. One time, this was some time ago, I was talking to a friend, another coach, and she said, well, you're going to have a hard time finding someone. I said, oh, you think so? And that's a terrible thing to say to someone to start. Let's put it that way. I said, well, why do you say that? Because I was curious. And she said, because you don't need someone. Now, I thought about that because I do. And I said, I accepted it, whatever. That's her opinion. And then I went back and I started thinking. And I thought, well, why do I have to need? Need is lack.
Absolutely.
Why do I want to need? That means I'm going to accept anybody who comes in the door.
Absolutely.
Because I need them to fill a void. That's not what having someone in your life is about. It's about sharing. You have to be complete onto your whole self so that the person that you offer or have your life, share your life with, is also complete in themselves. Then you're sharing the life instead of getting a codependency.
Absolutely. I'm surprised someone said that because it's true. It's, for myself personally, had I been engaged in a relationship or a marriage when I had my own voids to fill, I would have been seeking a partner to fill those voids for me.
Yes.
And now I feel so whole and complete. I don't need a relationship. I desire it, and it comes from such a different place. It's not from lack. It's not from desperation. It's from, this would enhance my life in this way.
It's sharing.
And you attract differently, right? When you reach that place of desire, not need.
Desire.
A different type of person. And
then you want to share. You want to share. You want to live with, and enjoy life with, not strangle every little bit that you don't have in you out of them.
Absolutely. And it takes a lot of work. I don't know about you, Alena, if you feel like it took a lot of work for you to get where you are, right? It takes a lot of work to feel whole and complete, but
it does take,
isn't it?
But the journey has been so cool because every step you get new awarenesses and you're thinking, that's really cool. And the day that you actually say, hey, you know what? I'm a pretty darn cool person.
Yeah.
I'm pretty darn cool, and I like who I am. That is the day of the alleluias just come out. That is a big day, because then all that yucky stuff goes away, that judgment on yourself, that criticalness, and that's what keeps you held back from everything in your life. It keeps you back spiritually, it keeps you back from love, it keeps you back from your career. That stuff just has to go. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. And I, just piggybacking on that, I am attracting a different and better quality in a person because of where I am now.
Yes.
It's because of the work I've done internally, that the men that are showing up, they're matching that vibration, they're matching that reflection. And
of course.
It's like, oh my goodness.
Law of attraction.
This is me. Yeah. I did this. I see myself. And it's wonderful.
It's
and
fun.
Not attracting based on lack and desperation and neediness, and as you mentioned, self-judgment. It's a different place.
It is. How can people get hold of you if they are interested in finding out more?
You can visit lovesanctuary.com. That's the best place to find me, what I'm doing, what I've got going on.
I love that. And everyone, and if you also go to lovesanctuary.com, and find out how to attain this beautiful love of your life. And if you want to talk about things also here and meet Alena, go to 41411 and type in Meet Alena, and you'll schedule a time, and we'll see what we can chat about. You have been listening to 30-Minute Moments, bringing you the ease and betterment. And this week, take a look at yourself. See about what kind of baggage you've been holding up and say, is it time for me to let go of this? And as you let go, you'll find the self-love you need. Namaste, everyone.
This has been 30-Minute Moments featuring Alena Chapman. If you missed an episode, download it now at wowo.com.
Podcasts by Federated Media.